Hello and welcome to Fandomology, where fandoms collide. I'm Paul, and we do a lot of discussion streams about different movies and such. We've been doing a lot of gaming streams recently, but we haven't done any good old-fashioned chill streams in a while where we just sit, not even playing a game, we just sit and we just talk. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we do any of that, I'm going to do some songs for you guys. Figured today is the 4th of July, Independence Day for those of us in America. So I'm going to do some patriotic stuff here. Phil McCracken's joining already. Hashtag Justice for Green Shirts. Hashtag John Denver is not a Yankee. He is country. He admitted it. I have the clip. Phil McCracken doesn't celebrate Yankee Day, celebrated June 15th, 1776. You're going to have to explain that one to me. And hashtag Justice for Skyrim. Yeah, that June 15th thing, man, I'm going to open this up and make it open pop-ins here in a little bit, so I'm going to want to hear what you have to say about that. So, let's do... So let's start off with this one. And keep in mind, I'm still somewhat getting over, I'm guessing, a sinus infection, so hopefully my voice can stand up to all this. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. All right. Okay, so Phil will explain. And hello, by the way, to Black Dragon, who says, "Hey, Paul, listening to you in the background while I write an op-ed for Facebook." Okay, I can't wait to hear what that thing says. Phil McCracken says, "I'm a good old rebel. Remember July 1st through 3rd, the Battle of Gettysburg." I don't know any Confederate songs, being honest with you. All right. Let me pull this one. Wait, I don't want that version. Here we go. Alright, I'm not going to do the full version of this song. I'm just going to do, I think, like 2 verses of it. But here we go. Oh, beautiful for spacious spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining seas. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. All right. Hello, by the way, to Leia Rose, who says Happy 4th of July. And hello to Star Wars Theology, who says Happy 4th of July, land of the free, home of the brave, forever. Absolutely. And I'm going to be singing a song about that, or that kind of has something to do with that, at least for me. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Phil McCracken wants me to sing Yankee Doodle. You know, this is going to surprise you, but I have legitimately never sang Yankee Doodle. Like, never. I've heard it, but never actually sung it. So, this will be interesting. All right. I'm going to guess. All right. I'm not going to do the full version. I have two versions here in front of me, the kids version and the full version. And the full version is really long. So I'm just going to do the kids version. So anyways, though. Oh, and by the way, hello to Alan Copeland, who says today is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, man. In fact, here, let's do this real quick for you, Alan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alan. Happy birthday to you. There you go, man. All right, let me do what Phil requested and do Yankee Doodle. Just the shortened version. I think it goes something like this. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. He stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Father and I went to camp along with Captain Gooding. There we saw the men and boys as thick as hasty pudding. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. And there was Captain Washington and gentle folks around him. Say he's grown so tarnal proud he will not ride without them. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. All right, there you go, Phil. I sang Yankee Doodle. And Alan Copeland has turned 49 today. Awesome, man. Congrats. All right, let's do something a little different. Hopefully, I have the voice for this one. Listen to our declaration, listen to our testament. We are given the revelation, we are sure of where we stand. So let the banner be unfurled. We found the light of hope in a dying world. Hear the myth of modern man, you're the god of your own land. They call you weak, a spineless fool. They say you've given up your right to rule. But I've been to the land of me, and I know I was never free. Freedom came when I gave it all away. That's why I call it Independence Day. Call it Independence Day. Let the rockets blaze across the sky, raise a flag of faith on high. Let the doubters call it what they may. It's only Independence Day. The world can crown another 100 kings, but I believe in better dreams. They may call it slavery, but the biggest chain I knew was me. So let the idols tumble down, the walls of lies crumble to the ground. I know where salvation can be found. Let the idols tumble down. That's why I call it Independence Day. Call it Independence Day. Let the rockets blaze across the sky, raise the flag of faith on high. Let the doubters call it what they may. It's Independence Day. Come and join in the celebration. It's the birth of a holy nation. As people are light, we are proud to say that we call it Independence Day. We call it Independence Day. Let the rockets blaze across the sky, raise the flag of faith on high. Let the doubters call it what they may, 'cause we call it Independence Day. We call it Independence Day. Let the doubters call it what they may. We call it Independence Day. All right, that was a somewhat rough version of Independence Day by Whiteheart. And Star Wars Theology asks, Paul, do you know the song God Bless the USA? Yes, I do, and I will do it. But before I do, I have to share a bit of a story with this song. So pretty much everyone by now knows that I am a Navy veteran. And this song has a very special place in my heart because this song played during a very important moment in Navy boot camp. So, in fact, I want to bet it also plays during Army boot camp too. Felix, back me up on this. But there's a certain moment in Navy boot camp called the capping ceremony. It's immediately after you finish your final test called battle stations. See, the context behind it is the whole time you're in boot camp, you're wearing a ball cap, kind of like this one. This is actually my Okinawa Navy ball cap. You wear a ball cap kind of like this one that just says recruit across the front of it. And that's how you're referred to the whole time, is recruit. But during the capping ceremony, after you've passed your final test, you take off your recruit hat and hand it in and get handed back a Navy ball cap, signifying the transition from being just a recruit to being a full-fledged sailor. And while that ceremony is going, God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood plays in the background. That is, like, I'm not kidding when I say that moment will make anyone cry. It made me cry. So, random bit of dust there. So I'm going to play that song, and I want to dedicate this to not just the people that are still serving, but the people that are also in their training. I want to dedicate this to the people that are in whatever military branch they chose to enlist in the Army, the Marines, the Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force, what have you. I want to dedicate this song to them. If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, because the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. All right, and I think that is a good place to end the music, at least for now, for this stream. There's one more song I'm going to do at the very end, But for now, let's go ahead and switch gears. And I'm going to go ahead and put the StreamYard link in the chat. If anyone wants to join, you are welcome. I'm posting it now. I'll go ahead and make it the pinned comment at the top of the chat also. And as always, this is just we talk pretty much about anything, but today being the 4th of July, I want to ask 2 questions. And Phil McCracken, he jumped in here right away. What's up, Phil?
I'm here to keep the Yankee hordes in their spaces.
Okay, fair enough. But so yeah, like I said, this is a chill stream, so we can talk just about anything. But today being the 4th of July, I want to ask, what does today mean to you? And Phil, I'll let you answer that first.
Okay, well, that's broad because technically I come from the first state, which means the first star on your flag, that's our star. We're 1st. And there's a history behind it. But for me, 4th of July symbolizes, it means to me, all of the United States, including our territories. Be thankful that we have a united America. You know, there was a time we might have split in two. Looks that way again. I always tell people, you know, don't think dividing our country or splitting it in two is going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah. And real quick, I am going to jump in here, and not just for you, but for anyone joining, I'm going to ask a favor, and please keep all mentions of our current government in its current configuration. Please, if you need to mention it, please keep it as vague as possible.
I don't talk about it. Current government never do. That's a no-no. My way of seeing things, you can never judge it until you've been a couple years away from it. You know,
okay.
That's how I think. That's how I see it. Because you know what, government policies, and I don't mean to go there, it always takes longer than the term or terms of that current president. You know, that's how I see things. So I always hold off judgment for years later. So, but going back and what 4th of July means, even though it's an incorrect date, the Declaration of Independence first was being signed on and was passed on July 2nd. The writers and the people putting their names to it took over a month to what you see the current form of the Declaration of Independence that was eventually sent to King George of Great Britain at the time. That it wasn't done what you see the great paintings. It wasn't done all one day. The only thing that was done on July the 2nd was the vote was passed. And the only person that signed it on July 2nd was John Hancock. And then, like I said, from July 2nd all the way to August 2nd, that's how long it took for these people to put their names on the document. In other words, whenever they felt the need, they were ready to put it on, then they put their signature on. So it's kind of unhistorical when you see certain movies or TV shows about the Declaration of Independence. Seeing it being done in one day, that's historically inadequate. Never happened that way. So Good paintings, good idea, good thought, but there's many things even with our early country history. You asked me about why I celebrate June 15th and not July 2nd.
But today's July 4th.
Today is July 4th. Again, the date, it's okay. You want to celebrate July 4th as our Independence Day, have no problems with it. But for me, my country, my home, started on June the 15th. That's where the colony of Delaware decided we were done being attached to Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, we were fought over. Little history lesson, our colonies did not get along with each other. There have been wars. And one of the most famous wars for my area is the Maryland-Pennsylvania War. Uh, Hence the reason why you got the Mason-Dixon line. Had nothing to do with slavery. Had everything to do that there was an undefined border there, and they fought over Delaware at the time. Originally Virginia, if you want to call it liberation, but won us from Sweden and the Dutch. And we were originally supposed to be part, with some parts of Maryland, Virginia. The king decided to give Maryland, Delaware, and Eastern Shore to Maryland. And when William Penn came over, there was a...
Real quick, hello, Brandon. What's up, bud?
Oh, I was just stopping by saying hi. Please continue. Please continue. And we must have justice for Star Trek V. We must.
Always. Thank you for that.
You know, Brandon, you realize what you made me do?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship? I said, what does God need with a starship?
Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
I know this ship like the back of my hand.
that thing
So,
makes
yes.
me laugh every time, especially with Jerry Lawler's in the background.
Just real quick, not to get on too big of a tangent, but apparently, I think I was talking to Pacific. He said that James Doohan did not like filming that scene because it portrayed Scotty as too much of an idiot.
I portraying him as a typical Scotsman, drunk in the afternoon. But
Yeah.
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I would say more drunk than anything. But go ahead. Go ahead. Lay your wisdom upon us, Phil McCracken.
Some of these things they don't teach you in school. They just skip it. But anyway, Delaware was rented against our will to Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania colony or state it was the only colony that did not have an open port to the sea. So they were renting us from Maryland on the condition they didn't interfere with the way of life of the people of Delaware. By the time of independence was coming up, Delaware was getting tired of Pennsylvania. We were getting tired of waiting. So Delaware became the second colony to declare its independence before the Continental Congress. The first being Rhode Island. Rhode Island declared their independence like back in May of 1776. So independence, regardless of what people were as a country or states as a whole, you already had some states are already saying, no, we're done. Regardless of what you're doing, we'd rather do it together. But regardless of what you guys decide, we're out. So we were already considered out, So, and our history, like I said, behind my house is a road. The British came up. They were trying to sneak into Philadelphia. And the Delaware militia, along with George Washington, who is revered here. You do not say anything negativity about George Washington without being harmed. Road right there. They fought for a whole day, delaying them to the rest of the revolutionary, the military forces under Washington, whatever you want to call them. We're ready to fight for the Battle of Brandywine. So we are known as the 1st Regiment. We're the oldest regiment. I don't care what any state or other states will tell you. We're the oldest militia, 1638, dated from the Swedes. When you see the military uniform of the Revolutionary soldier, the blue with the red and the white stripe, that's them colors and uniforms are based upon the 1st Delaware. We were partnered with Maryland, and we were known as the Iron Gates. The reason they called us the Iron Gates is because you cannot go north or south at that time without going through Maryland and Delaware. And there was a time where after the battles were going bad for George Washington, the only 3 groups of people he had were Virginia militia, the 1st Delaware, and the Maryland Brigade. That was it. We were his favorite. Maryland and Delaware was his favorite regiment of the Revolutionary War. He sent us south. They went to fight the Battle of Cowpens, which was a disaster. And to pretty much save what was left of the Continental Army in the South, the Maryland Delaware Brigade refused to retreat or surrender. They practically lost 75% of their force. When George Washington got the news of what happened, and he heard about the Maryland Delaware Brigade, he broke down crying and was not able to be talked to for 2 whole days.
Wow. That is definitely something.
So, but I like to point out, like I said, 4th of July, a lot of what our history is sometimes gets construed. You hear things like, for example, we don't have religion as part of our government. That's not the case in the beginning. As colonies, every one of our colonies had religion in their government. Maryland was Catholic. Virginia was what you would consider Protestant. The northern colonies had their own form, whatever you want to call the Quakers and the Puritans. The religion was a very big deal in their colonies' governments, and they did not get along. Like I said, Maryland fought a war with Pennsylvania. That's how you got the Mason-Dixon line. Sorry, has nothing to do with slavery. Another thing, out of the 13 colonies, and no, Vermont is not part of the 13 colonies, even though they try to say they were, but they're not. 10 out of the 13 colonies were slave colonies. And that includes, the only 3 you can say there weren't were Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. That means New York, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. They were slave colonies. Call them slave states. It was not, like I said, it was not men for their times. That's the only thing I can get it without being political. That's how they lived. But
Fair enough.
each state, out of the original 13, even to this day, they still have a little bit of pride, not just being the first states that started the country, but for even in today's world, the way somebody from another state from out west or Midwest, you see yourself as a state, a part of the country. You were formed from territories. You were owned. The territory before it became a state was owned by the federal government. Our states were never owned by the federal government. We were never controlled by the federal government. It isn't that we're not less patriotic than anybody else. It's just that we're more heavily guarded. So there's a different mentality when you see somebody from one of the original 13 compared to the other 33 or 37. Yes, there's a difference.
Right.
So,
And real quick, I want to welcome Star Wars Theology in here and Black Dragon. How you both doing today?
Good. How are you? How are you guys? Happy 4th.
happy
Happy
4th.
4th.
And just so you know, the United States Army is the oldest continuous government body of the United States, 1775. Sorry there for you Navy people. And there was a time even afterwards they even discontinued the Navy. So
we make up for it by having 2 birthdays.
Yeah.
And actually the branch under the Army, the National Guard, was created there's a good movie that they tried a good job there, The Patriot. You know, in The Patriot, you see the birth of the National Guard. That's kind of like, you know, when you see the volunteers, you know,
Wasn't the National Guard created in like 1640 something?
Well, our Delaware has the oldest, 1638. That's
Okay.
one of the oldest. That was sweet. But you have to remember, back then, National Guard was your main force. Most of the wars were fought with National Guard. You know,
what were you saying, Black Dragon?
National Guard was originally set up a lot like the Coast Guard was. It's the national force stateside to prevent to fight against invasion.
Yeah, that's your direct your direct commander in chief is the governor, right? And then the president can federalize the National Guard in certain situations if they want to, but you know the main commander is the governor of each state.
They even swear an oath to the governor. So, even when they go to basic training with the regular armed forces, any of the National Guard units, their oath does not get taken for the president. It gets taken for their governor. You swear your oath to your governor.
Yeah.
And real quick, hello, Crit. What's up, man?
Hello.
So
Everything's
just a just a refresher for those that have just joined us. By the way, hello in the chat to Polo G and to Keely Chow. We're just having a chill stream, just talking about what 4th of July means to each of us. And Brandon, I want to hear that from you. What does 4th of July mean to you?
It means everything. You know, with me being, I'm from Idaho, so the perspective that that I have of the country and everything is vastly different than all of you from that are back east. But to me, it was always been the day to remember what we have, what we had, and also to steel yourself against those that wish to continue to take things away from you. Current asterisk, mentally deficient. But that's as far as I'll go with that. And I just wanted to stop by and say hi. It's been a minute, and I actually need to take the computer apart for a moment. I've got to finally got a newer video card, and that thing weighs about twice as much as what the previous one does, so it's kind of saggy. I need to put an anti-sag bracket in, but to do that, I gotta change out the center screw thing. Instead of having all 9 spots get screwed down now, they have one of them on at least on the last few cases that I've bought, that have a little stand for it to line up in, and it just does that. And unfortunately, the anti-sag bracket doesn't work with it, so I gotta pop it open and.
What card do you have?
I've got a 3070 Ti from Asus, and it's a triple fan monstrosity.
Right. Well, see, I'm running a 6800 XT in the system I just got back up and running. If you want to prevent the sag without a bracket, the protective slots, you have to take out the bracket to put the card in. Put one of those back under the bottom screw of the card, and it lifts it.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta do something. It's yeah,
they're heavy.
They are very heavy, so I gotta work on that. But
Real quick, before you go, Brandon, I want to ask: have you seen this?
Wolf Children. No, I have not. One second here.
It's made by the people that also made the movie Summer Wars.
Okay. Let's see. PG the name, 2012.
I'm probably going to get this wrong. The name attached to it is Mamoru Hosoda.
Let's see. Hosoda's first film with his new studio Shizo. Became his 3rd award-winning masterpiece. Oh. Yeah. I think you'll like it. You know, it's a PG. It's
I've seen this.
Okay.
I'd seen it years ago, but I'd like to rewatch it, and if you're up for it, maybe do a review with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got I should have access to this either through Crunchyroll, Funimation, or through other means. I'll definitely watch it, and yeah. I've actually been burning through a ton of anime this past few weeks, and trying to catch up on the spring season because it was so good, but the summer season has got 6 shows that are coming back either for 2nd seasons or for 4th seasons, like Overlord, and a whole ton of new stuff that actually looks fun. So yeah, okay. I gotta get to the watching, but I'll definitely check it out, and yeah, we'll definitely do a review on it. So all right guys, I'm gonna take off and get this thing fixed.
Brandon,
so
one more time, say it for me, because these people will never say it. Say it again. Please.
There has to be justice for Star Trek V. There has to be justice.
Thank you.
Hey, get with Crit. He he found a cut of Star Trek V. What's it called? The Great Barrier?
Beyond the Great Barrier. Beyond the Great, the one you don't like for some reason.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. You have yourself a wonderful day. You stay safe, and for God's sake, stay out of the larger cities like Chicago. Do you hear what happened in Highland Park?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
There was an asshole, and pardon my language, but that's, besides going to the other 4-letter words, that's the only word that I can describe. This asshole started sniping people from a rooftop position, killed 5 people.
What?
In Chicago, in Illinois, supposedly in a place where you can't obtain those type of pew pews. Yeah, so much for the law stopping the pew pew from happening.
Was that
But anyways,
today?
that's my mini rant for the night. So take care, everybody.
All right.
See you, Brandon.
See you later, man.
Yeah,
It was
see ya.
today.
And because he said that, obviously tragic what happened, I still gotta uphold the rule though.
Language. And for gosh sake, watch your language.
All right. So anyways, let's get back to the original discussion. Crit, what does the 4th of July mean to you?
Freedom and the living. I understand people saying I don't care about the 4th of July. You know, I really think modern politics has kind of drained people, but I don't think people should let just because, you know, it's modern day, that should not distract you from the fact that you're living in a free country. Where else can you do what you can? Anywhere in the world you can't. Imagine if you protested what you protested here in, say, a country like North Korea, where it's not free. You would be sent to a labor camp.
Or outright killed.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The opportunity, the people overlook the opportunities this country gives us, and I understand some people are defeated, but you know what? As I've said, I'm not backing down, and I love this country. And
yeah, like for me personally, the one thing, and I hate using the term black pill, but the one thing that genuinely I have been black pilled on for the longest time, even before anything to do with fandom, is politics, specifically talking politics, because I have found from experience, even when I'm talking with someone that agrees with me, that talking politics really does not accomplish anything except to make both of us mad. So I just don't do it anymore. I have my beliefs, and I pay attention to current events, but I really am not a big fan of political debate anymore. But
You only have to really deal with politics is every 2 years to vote, and election.
This is one of those years, by the way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I blame oversaturation with the news, a 24-hour news cycle. What do they have to talk about if not politics?
Yeah, but the problem is it's not news anymore.
Yeah. Who's got the train going by?
Crit.
That was Crit.
Okay. All right. But anyways, that's my mini rant on politics. Black Dragon, I really want to get your take on this, because you're of course a veteran like myself, like Star Wars theology, but you have an entirely different military experience from any one of us on this panel. So I want to know, given all of your life experience with all that, what does the 4th of July mean to you?
Well, serving 12 years and then going into law enforcement, how do I put that? I love my country. I fought for my country. I fought for you to have the freedoms that you have to say or believe whatever you want, right or wrong. Mm-hmm. I still love this country, but it scares me what it's turning into.
Yeah.
4th of July means a lot because of my military service, but on the opposite end of that same coin, when you work law enforcement, you have a set scheduled, set days off, from corrections.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a holiday, you're working it.
Yep.
because you have to. There's a necessity for you to. So for me, putting 27 years into the law enforcement field, the 4th of July to me is just another day of the week. The same thing with Christmas, New Year's, my birthday. It makes no difference. It's another day of the week. But I still love this country. I fought for the freedoms that we all enjoy. And you're allowed to have any opinion you want, whether it agrees with me or not, because you have that freedom due to what the 4th of July stands for.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely sympathize with the whole notion of it's just another day of the week because of the type of work schedule you had. And I can't lie, holidays have kind of become that for me also. But I can't, for example, say that around my mom because she doesn't fully understand.
I think, in a way,
how I have now, of course, I'm off today because it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the federal government says that, your employer can work you on a holiday, but they have to pay you for that compensation. Or they can give you the day off. They don't have to do both. My employer actually is kind enough to give us the day off and pay us for it.
Good. That's how, unfortunately, 4th of July isn't one of those, but that's how my employer is with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day.
I mean, even states-wide,
holiday, my employer
are
will give
different.
if it falls in the week.
So, I mean, what you have down in Virginia.
Hey, Phil, Black Dragon was talking first.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Phil. All I was saying was if the holiday falls in the work week, my employer will give us the time off and pay us for it. If it falls on a weekend, it's just a day off.
Right.
But like I said, according to the federal government, they don't have to do both. They have to do one or the other, but they don't have to do both. And my employer is kind enough to actually do both.
Good. All right, Phil, what were you saying?
Each state, not just federal-wise, but each state has different holidays. And that's a lot of some people don't understand and grasp.
That's true also.
Like in Texas, they might have two holidays that some place in Minnesota doesn't have. They're your state holidays. Like I said, it varies state to state. As far as I know about with government closes down regardless if other businesses don't. And the way I hear people saying about how the 4th of July, it's, I could say overpumped, over-exaggerated, which it should be. It's the 4th of July, but I think 4th of July is starting to suffer like our religious holidays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. It's become really commercialized and overpumped to the point that you lose the meaning. 4th of July does not have anything to do with a barbecue. I'm sorry. It doesn't. The original people that fought the Revolutionary War didn't have a barbecue. They were just happy that, 8 years of war, we managed to somehow pull a miracle. It was a miracle we won. It is short of a miracle. And they went through everything you can imagine during that war. There were some states that didn't get along with each other. Some regions of states that didn't get along with each other. Thankfully, the British picked up on that and tried to use it. And remember, the biggest defeat that the British suffered and really caused them to question fighting the war wasn't with George Washington and his army. It was when Cornwallis went through North Carolina and Virginia and told them, if we think you're siding with the rebels, we're burning you out of house and home. Kings Mountain is the example of people, not an army, not a militia, people saying, "Oh, no, you're not," and they whooped the British on Kings Mountain. The leader of the British forces up on Kings Mountain said, "I'm never coming down from that mountain." He's buried up there to this day, and that was the biggest defeat, not overall, but one of the meaningful defeats of the British that caused them to say, "Hey, we're not winning the hearts and minds of the people," and more so what we just said and did there. So, yeah, Kings Mountain is a beautiful place. You should always, I will tell you, after Yorktown or Valley Forge, you should go. You should see Kings Mountain because, like I said, it's not military formation. It wasn't on the British side, but on the colony side, these were just average people. Just said, "You're not burning me out of house and home. You're not going to run off and kill my family and keep marching north." They went there and they stopped it, and that was a miracle.
Okay.
There was no leadership. There was no leadership, and that was one of the pivotal moments of the American Revolution. And do not forget that our first Civil War was the Revolutionary War, particularly down south. That was bloody. But there was a lot of people that still favored staying with England. And down in the south, that was a bloody Civil War. So,
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's
remember.
another reason that I actually support, I honor the people who have served.
Yeah.
Regardless of branch. You know, during downtime, you know, I'm Navy. I'll tease Star Wars theology about being Army. I'll tease somebody about being Coast Guard or somebody about being a Marine. You know,
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
tease each other, and it'll sound like we're fighting, and all we're doing is teasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can actually get into fisticuffs. But when something happens,
Or if someone else decides to tease,
right,
that isn't part.
we band together as one group, regardless of what branch you're in. You know,
Yeah.
just like I teased, you know, you do realize, joke, you do know that it is a requirement to enter into Coast Guard service. You have to be 6 foot or taller.
Oh.
That way, if your ship sinks, you can wade back to shore.
Wow.
That's a joke.
Leia Rose says that
Our
she's also a
coastal defense.
reservist. Okay. I didn't know that, Leia Rose. What branch are you part of?
I will say,
Yeah, Leia is also reserve. Like that's the first time I heard about this. She was
Yeah,
reserve?
that's
Yeah, I didn't
that's
know
new to
either.
me.
Leia, why you didn't tell us this before?
she didn't want to brag.
Oh, you're I think it's her sister. I think it's her sister. His sister.
But you know what?
Oh,
the best,
okay.
the best thing I could say about our country compared to others, you can have a disaster where
Mhm.
every member of our military is gone, wiped out. Our people, our citizen soldiers.
Yep.
I would dare anybody to think that even if you manage by some fluke to wipe out all our military forces in the United States, to think you can come walking in, no. I think our citizen soldiers, I would rank them even higher than our military, just for their love of home and country. That's something that's hard to fight. Anybody will tell you, home and country. Doesn't matter what you're fighting for. But if you're fighting for home and country, family, all that, that's a hard thing to defeat. And don't want to see, I don't even think it's even, you know, they had a thing on YouTube, this guy in his channel, saying about what countries are hard to defeat, and they threw Russia up there. But the most impossible is the United States because, like I said, Paul, I'm pretty sure you're well armed, and Theology's probably well armed. Black Dragon's probably well armed.
Well, I mean, I have this.
Hey,
I know what you're really talking about,
but
though,
if
and I
you
have
can
a
wield
couple of those
look,
too.
if you can wield a machete and someone stuck their hand through your
I got a
door,
katana right over there, man.
there you go. What I'm saying is, you know, again, our people our military is great, wonderful, probably the best of the best. But even like I said, can you think of another country that can say, "Hey, do away with our military service. They're gone," and you're still at war, and the citizen soldiers, and a lot of countries have them, but can they say they're the quality of what we have?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, that was the idea of the National Guard. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's the whole.
That was the whole purpose. It's like they were Well, I think the movie Patriot puts a good portray what happened there. It's they just are volunteers and they were ready to go.
Yep. and remember this: even though we have 50 stars on our flag, we have territories.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Felix, Puerto Rico has a National Guard.
Guam,
Virgin
American
Islands,
Samoa.
Yep.
I think
These people, they may not be states, but they still have a National Guard. All of them, Coast Guard and everything. It isn't like they're any different than a state. The only thing is they're not a state.
And that's what I'm gonna tell my little story, because mine probably is different from you guys. I grew up, I come from a territory, right? So the Army National Guard was from Puerto Rico, right? So and just bear with me, because this story probably you guys haven't heard about it before, but Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, and it came out in 1898 in the Hispanic American War. Spain and United States were fighting, and then United States, won that war, and that's how they got Puerto Rico, right? But it was not until 1952 that actually Puerto Rico made the state constitution that is basically a carbon copy of the U.S. Constitution, right? So it was around, I believe it was 1912. I don't remember exactly, but 1912 or 1914 that actually Puerto Ricans then had the U.S. citizenship. Before that, they didn't have it. So when I was born, I'm a U.S. citizen. So some people get confused, especially with Puerto Ricans, that they think that it's the same as Mexicans or other Latin American countries. It's not the same, because it's a U.S. territory. Therefore, because there is a U.S. territory, you can serve in the armed forces of the United States.
And you can travel, just like the people in American Samoa. You can travel anywhere in the United States. You don't need a passport. You
don't need a passport. Yeah, exactly. We have passports. So we and that's some of the things that people get confused. Yeah. But the thing is that because I live in that territory, over there is not a state, and I will say that half of the population there believe that that Puerto Rico should be a state, and the other half believe that they should be stay the same way. No, they should stay the way it is
as a territory,
as a commonwealth, because Puerto Rico is a commonwealth. Besides, it's a territory. That's another thing that people don't know.
Does the independent movement in Puerto Rico, do they still have a large percentage, or it's pretty much
I will say that
or territory?
I would say that percentage-wise, I will say it's like around like 1.5% of the population. It's not as what people think, right? The problem, and this is a little bit on another historic piece that probably not a lot of people know. The Korean War, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Korean War, there was a regiment that was called the 65th Infantry, and that regiment was called the Buccaneers. And actually, there's a quarter that you can find a quarter for. You remember when the quarters were by state and territories? Yes. If you go to that quarter for the Puerto Rico, you're gonna find the image of the Buccaneer. There were a whole infantry regiment made by Puerto Ricans in that time, and that's based on the Taino Indian of Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. So when I'm coming with all this is that there's like as you say in Phil McCracken, is that there's little things about each state that people don't know about the territories.
Yeah, even the territories. Like people don't know that there's two Samoas. There's American Samoa, which is a territory, and then there's regular Samoa, which used to be part of another country, but they got their independence. Same people. Just these islands are theirs, and these islands are, they're, like I said, Puerto Rico is our largest territory. There's other territories like right next door to Puerto Rico, and a lot of people want to mesh them together. The American Virgin Islands, but they're two different cultures.
Yeah, and I gotta warn you, some of the I know all this because I know this story, but I'm gonna tell you, you probably encounter people, some other Puerto Ricans, they don't even know this. They don't know all these little details. So, not everybody that you encounter, they will give you the same impression. So, and the other thing is that the reason I want Puerto Rico to be a state is because as a soldier, ex-soldier, right? When you go to war, I think that you should have the right to vote for your commander-in-chief or president in order to go to the war, so it can be fair, right? So right now, soldiers are in that region cannot do that. So people don't know that.
For anybody
They cannot vote. They cannot vote for the president. No.
Even if they were born stateside, they can't vote, right?
Put it this way, Phil. If you put your 2 feet in Puerto Rico, and there's unless you requested to vote from apart, you cannot vote for the president.
Wow.
Because you are in that territory. It doesn't
You're in
matter.
That territory, I got you. As long
Doesn't
as you're
matter.
in that territory, you can't. I got you.
Any U.S. citizen that goes to a territory can and have not asked for voting previously cannot vote for the president. That's something that not a lot of people do. So basically, that's
kind of tragic.
Yes, for example, I live now in Connecticut, right? Now I can vote for the president because my 2 feet are in mainline. So that's another thing that probably some people don't know.
Things we didn't know today.
Yeah.
We learned right now. Like I said,
exactly.
Every state, every territory, you'd be surprised. Like we had somebody from Guam right now. I guess they would clue us in and tell us something that they have, something unique and different. Like I didn't know to this day that if you're on a territory, even if you were born in the 48, 50 states, while you're in that territory, you can't vote for the president. So
unless you have requested beforehand, that you want to vote. But if you are living there for like 10 years and stuff, you will not be able to vote. So that's one of the things, and so those are the little things. And there was one more thing that I want to say. What was it?
Well, real quick, Felix, I haven't heard your answer yet for the question. What does the 4th of July mean to you?
Well, yes. I wanted to tell all this beforehand because for me, it started meaning a lot more once I went to the service because over there in the territory, they celebrated, but there's mixed holidays, right? So for me, once I became a soldier, it meant a lot because, I understand the concept of freedom better. And I understand the concept that freedom is not free, something that my drill sergeant was telling me every day that we were doing stuff on boot camp, and we were like, people were complaining about it. Remember, it was saying like, we serve a democracy, but we are not a democracy here. So understand that freedom is not free. And the 4th of July, that a lot of men and women die for keeping that freedom. It means a lot. It means a lot. For me, it was different. It was not until I start serving, that and being in the mainland environment that I appreciate the sacrifice. So for me, it was a little bit different than you guys. It's important. And as Black Dragon was saying, is some of the patriotism has been lost lately, with all the other external stuff happening. That is kind of sad. But it's a very important holiday to me.
I think it's even sadder when these politicians are advocating basically, screw the 4th of July. And I'm like, what? Then why
Especially
are you
in the wake of certain decisions by the Supreme Court?
And I'm like, well, then why are you in office if you do that? You don't follow the Constitution.
The one thing we have as Americans, and I'm talking about all Americans, all 50 states, all our territories, everything. One thing we don't have royalty. No one's better than anyone. We're all equal. And I know people say when I say that, it sounds funny. No, I have the same rights. And if I break a law, then if you guys break the same, we all get the same treatment. That's what should be happening. But when you get politicians in there to throw their 2 cents in, 4th of July should never be about politics. It should always be about the country as a whole.
Yeah.
Other
I think
countries,
that
I can tell you, when they have their Independence Day or their Foundation Day or whatever, that's one thing. Like I said, I'm Italian. Italy has 30 or even 50 different political parties, but when it comes time for their Independence Day and the celebration of founding of Italy, that's still modern. That's only happened since the 1870s. Before that, we were a bunch of divided city states.
Yeah, I think that
but I'm just saying, everybody doesn't make a difference. And believe me, they have regional difference over there in Italy. Each region kind of looks at the other region like, we really don't like, I'm just being nice when I say that. It's to a different degree, but the one thing they do share in common, when that holiday comes up, that's their holiday, and nothing left, right, center, religious belief, whatever belief, everything is set aside to celebrate that day. You're giving your country one day. It isn't that hard. Just celebrate it. Eat a hot dog. Have fun. Have a hamburger. That's, to me, it really doesn't mean any. I mean, that's added things, barbecue, celebrate, that type of deal. But even while you're eating your hot dog and you're having your hamburger and you're around family and friends, remember that's your country. It's your country you're thinking about.
Yes.
People died, people sacrificed, and you're here today, thankfully, for them. So
yeah. And I want to share a really cool story from 2 years ago, around this time of the year. 2 years ago, my family and I went on a big road trip to California and back. And on the 4th of July, we happened to find ourselves in Keystone, South Dakota, where Mount Rushmore is. And of course, this is where, at the time, President Trump was doing his big 4th of July speech from Mount Rushmore, and they had a fireworks show there. Well, while we weren't exactly at Mount Rushmore itself, we were not, unfortunately, in the attendance for that speech. We were able to see Mount Rushmore and the fireworks from our hotel. So seeing Mount Rushmore and the fireworks just going off above it was really amazing. The only thing, admittedly, that I wish was different was there was this one guy sitting over across the street from us, next to us. He was like the self-appointed DJ for like the whole block who was watching the fireworks. And he played nothing but Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA, which is a good song, but 3 different times of the same song. Come on, give us some variety.
If tomorrow all the days are gone, I work for all my life.
Yeah.
It is interesting you bring up Mount Rushmore, and there is controversy there. My children
I am well aware. I saw the protests.
Are half Native Americans, and one of the major controversy is who owns Mount Rushmore. Now, my children, they are Cherokee and Chickasaw, but even their grandfather, who I knew, and he was full-blooded Native American, said the Sioux and the Cheyenne took that land away from the Pawnee and the Crow. Mm-hmm. Part of what a lot of people don't know is, like the Battle of Little Bighorn, the Cheyenne and the Sioux were on Crow land. The United States Army had a duty to remove them off of Crow land. Now, that argument and fight is going on even to this day. The Crow, as a tribe and a people, are one of the best Native American allies we have ever had with the Native Americans. Good reasons behind it aside, a lot of Native Americans to this day have resentment to the Crow. That's why when you see certain movies when they portray Crow and Pawnee Indians because they were our allies. They're always seen in a bad light. You can take your opinion about it. Watch the Dancing with Wolves, and you'll see how they portray them. Again, just because certain group of people, I mean, that's just an example. Native Americans, they can't all get along. They try. But the Crow Indians, even today when they do the tours for the Little Bighorn, they always end it by saying, we must know all our history because we are all Americans. They don't differentiate and not tell you the Sioux and the Cheyenne side. They don't just tell you the Crow and the Pawnee. They tell you the American side. And even in the American Army, there was still resentment at that time for like the Irish and new foreigners coming over. It's nothing new. Nothing new. But in today's world, we're all Americans today. That's the way we should see things. Our differences are good, but what brings us together makes us great. And sorry, didn't mean to preach, guys.
It's okay.
No, it was good, man.
That's good.
I mean, there's YouTube. There's
Real
YouTube
quick, before you go on, Phil. Felix, you need to step out. You said.
Yes, I need to step out, but I wanna say to everybody here, Paul, Black Dragon, happy 4th of July, proud service. Phil, I can feel your patriotism in your veins. So it's always.
I have family that served in every war since the Civil War, and I had family that in the Civil War fought both sides.
Yeah, and Lord Creed, Lord Creed, it's always good to hear you. You're really interested in you're in the American
history
and how everything came out to be. So happy 4th of July to everybody, and have a great day. Yep.
Real quick, Black Dragon, before you go, did you hear about the new dates for ICC next year?
Yeah, posted it.
Oh no, I haven't.
March 26th through March 28th.
No, May
26th. Sorry, May 26th through May 28th.
Oh. There's anything just because of the they wanted to match up with the Sours or there's
Celebration. I think they're trying to get Ian McDermott to come back again, so they're just because Celebration is in the UK and it's the same time as last year's Nashville Con. Yeah. So I think they're just like pushing it ahead, so it makes more actors available because they're busy that week. So yeah. Funny thing is, I found out that there was a Washington State Summer Con, and guess who was there?
Who?
And I missed it in June, early June.
Who?
Ian McDermott and Ray Park and William Shatner.
Oh,
God bless William Shatner. God bless William Shatner.
Hashtag release the Shatner cut.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, guys, I need to go, but happy 4th of July to everybody.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th to you also, man.
See you guys.
See you later.
See ya.
I have one thing to add to this 4th of July thing, and I want to end this myth. Betsy Ross did not sew the American flag. Okay, we're going to clarify it all right now. Originally, the colonies, when the war first started, used 13 stripes as their flag. Mm-hmm. Then they adopted the Union Jack, which is the 13 stripes with the British Union Jack up in the corner. When we won our independence and they knew they were filling it out, 2 members of Congress went to Betsy Ross, who was a seamstress, and created flags. And they said, we need to create something to go in that corner to replace the Union Jack. And what she went with was a blue backfield with a 5-pointed stars set in a circle. That is the part she created. That is the part she created. And the reason for it is so on the field, the units could get their flags done, can easily cut the Union Jack out of the top corner, get the blue background, sew that in place, and sew the stars in the circle.
Right. Now, and for anyone that doesn't know what Phil is talking about, this is what he's talking about.
Yes, that's what you would call the Betsy Ross flag. 13 stripes in the corner. Now, there is, like I said, are the two earlier conceptions in that blue field is the British Union Jack, the flag of the UK. But originally, the 13 colonies, and even during the French and Indian War, it was the 13 stripes right there. Did you see? Them 13 stripes, white and red, was the original flag flown by the Continental Army.
Right. Whereas it used to be, and I found an example, it used to be this.
Correct. And like I said, they only needed the reason they went to her. They needed something quick and fast. And it's easy to cut that corner out and put a blue corner right there, sew it together. And these people knew how to sew back then. Men and women knew how to sew. So for them, it only probably would took a couple of them, 2 men working on a flag, probably took them half a day. And it was done. But Betsy Ross did not design the whole American flag. She just designed the position of the stars and the blue background. That was it.
Right. But here's the thing, though, and Black Dragon will help me out with this. There is another version of the stripes flag that is used by the Navy. It's called the Navy Jack.
Yes.
Everyone has seen the "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Correct.
The snake that's coiled. It says "Don't tread on me" at the bottom.
This the one with the stars, and it has the snake on it.
There's no stars. There's no stars. This is what it looks like.
Yes, that's the one that goes on the oldest ship in the Navy.
That's on all ships.
That's on all ships.
That is
Yep,
on
but
that is on
was
all
only
ships.
on the
And I
oldest ship
believe
in
it
the fleet.
flies at the stern of the ship, right?
Okay.
Like
Correct.
Black Dragon. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So, just a little bit of
And the
bonus
naval
facts
jack,
for you.
if I'm not correct, is just the stars. The
No,
regular naval-
that is the Navy Jack right there.
See, I have family in the Navy, and I was told that the naval jack supposedly goes on the oldest ship in the Navy that's still in service. The rest of the Navy uses just the stars, no stripes, just to put the stars as their naval jack. I could be wrong.
No.
You know.
That is not true.
At
It
least
might
not
have
when I
been
was
that way, but yeah, and it's certainly not true today. It may have been like way back in the day before Black Dragon's time, but today, that flag that I just showed, that is the Navy Jack, and that is on all ships.
I mean, they do have a blue flag with nothing but stars, but it's not called a Navy Jack. It's a Jack of the United States.
Okay,
Yep,
then
Phil,
that's
ju-
not-
Phil,
yeah, I
Phil
should-
just sent it to me. I'm pulling it up now.
It's a maritime flag.
That's what it looks like.
Yes. And that's called the Jack of the United States. That's not the Navy Jack.
Right. And that is flown at the bow of U.S. vessels that are moored or anchored.
Correct.
Okay. So anyways, though, my next question sort of is, what are you guys going to be doing tonight for 4th of July? Like, I know I'm going over to my parents' house to have dinner with them, and either we're going to watch the town set off fireworks or we're going to set off some of our own. I'm not sure yet.
I think right now Texas is in what they call a burn ban
I understand.
because of the extensive heat with no rain.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's like tinder. So I don't know what they're going to do for the state, or I mean, for local quote unquote fireworks displays. I know I heard some kids last night setting off some stuff.
Oh, there was some setting off last night outside my window.
Yeah, I heard that last night. I'm just going to continue to work on this rebuild. and watch some stuff or listen to some movies or whatnot in the background. I really have no family, so I mean, there's nothing for me, no one for me to get together with. I mean, I do have a biological brother who's 4 years
Mhm.
younger than I am, lives 4 states away. We talk once a year, maybe. Um, I know I just torqued off his youngest daughter because we got into an argument over the Roe v. Wade decision. She's jumped on this bandwagon, and when I proved her wrong, I basically got told to F off. I don't know what I'm talking about. And when I proved I did know what I was talking about, I got a message that said, just leave me alone, which tells anybody with half a brain cell that you're wrong. You just don't have a valid argument. I love the little girl to death, and she's entitled to have her opinion.
I, without going into detail, know what that's like.
Wrong. And I sent my brother a message that says, I don't know if you've been told, but I just, torqued off your youngest daughter over this decision. And he sent me a message back that said, yeah, she told me, no issues here. AKA, I'm going to back my daughter, but I agree with you.
Wow.
Which is fine. Like I said,
Of course.
That's what we fought for you to have the freedom to believe what you want to believe.
Yes. And I do want to slightly correct what you said, Black Dragon, about not having a family. You have us.
Fair
And
enough.
Here we are getting together now.
Fair enough.
So,
Bring me a
Crit.
cheeseburger.
I'll go fire up the grill right now. But Crit, what are you going to be doing tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. Yeah, I'm just sitting here. So watching TV
Okay.
with my dad, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm kind
And
of a boring.
I gotcha. And Phil, what are you going to be doing?
For me, where I live at, I want to have a unique perspective. Every year, there's 3 sets of fireworks. First one is a local Baptist church. They'll set out their fireworks around 6:30, 7 o'clock. Then another church, they're Presbyterian, and they're a very old one that's like 300 or 400 years old. They were on the line where the British came up on their way to the Battle of Brandywine and the taking of Philadelphia. So they'll set their fireworks off next. And then on the Delaware River, we have Fort Delaware. They'll be the final one. Now, all this I can see in my backyard. I don't have to do anything but just get a lawn chair, sit there, and whoever wants to join me will join me.
Cool.
So that's going to be my entertainment up until that's done. And then I promised my girlfriend that I will play Fallout 76. So tonight, even if you stream Skyrim, I unfortunately, please don't stream Skyrim. But yeah, I'll be doing 76.
Phil, don't play Fallout 76.
I have
Friends
no choice.
Friends don't let friends play Fallout 76.
I have no choice.
Play Skyrim together. That's coming out.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, they have finally seen it. It's finally getting put out. And I like the idea of co-op Skyrim.
Yeah.
But and I must say, I'm not having a traditional American meal. Yeah, I am having tortellinis in white sauce and cheese.
You silly Italian, you.
We have to do it. And the tortellinis are not the meat
I know.
tortellini. It's a cheese tortellini, so yeah.
Hey, it's whatever.
I would share with you guys if there's anything left after I eat about a pound of it, so I would share.
I gotcha. Well, guys, I think we've had a good stream, so I think we're going to go ahead and call it off. But before we go, I'm going to go ahead and pop you guys out. I'm going to do one more song before we go, and I'm not even going to use a guitar for this. I'm going to sing this completely a cappella. I am going to sing the national anthem. So we're going to close with that. Black Dragon, I'll meet you in Discord later so I can see this op-ed you were talking about. But in the meantime, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And here we go. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?